What's up, and welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Tuesday, April 7th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. Today on the show, Jose Soriano is happening. We have a cage match set up between Jordan Walker and Cam Smith. Both guys look really, really good right now. And the most dropped players from the weekend. I'm going to try and work this in on Mondays because I realize we need to talk more about the players who are being dropped and whether or not we agree. And so we will do that, Scott. Let's jump in.
Yeah, baby!
That was the sound of everybody who rostered Jose Soriano on Monday night. Do you agree?
I don't think I've rostered him anywhere, so I can't share. But I can still enjoy it vicariously because he was it was the cover photo for the sleeper pitchers for this week. One of the I would say he was the top sleeper pitcher for this week, but I think I moved Michael Wacha ahead of him once he became a 2-star pitcher because the matchups were better. But still, Soriano was number 2, and Michael Wacha started off the week well. So we're off to a good start with the sleeper pitchers for this week. Best start yet for Soriano. It seems like he keeps one-upping himself every time out. 8 innings. He went against the Braves, 8 innings and no walks, which if there was one wart from his first 2 starts, it was that he was walking a few too many guys. 0 walks in those 8 innings, struck out 10, 15 swinging strikes on 97 pitches. So the increased whiffs from Soriano continue now for a 3rd start. It's getting harder to deny that we could be witnessing a breakout season for a guy who was already pretty useful in fantasy because he was one of the top ground ball pitchers. But now he's added some swing and miss ability to that with the introduction of this 4-seamer to the arsenal to offset the sinker, create a little extra deception there, keep hitters guessing a little more. He actually got multiple whiffs on 4 different pitches, which is not something we're used to seeing from Soriano. Previously, he had basically been a 2-pitch guy. He'd mix in that splitter from time to time, but it wasn't a huge part of his arsenal. It was mostly just sinker, curveball. Now he's got that 4-seamer, worked in the splitter a little more in this one, had a great start. I think things are looking good. I'd say pick him up, but at least in CBS Sports leagues, for the 2-star week, that already happened so much that he's up to 88% roster now. But obviously, even if he has a bad start next time out, he's not going to be flawless all season. Even if he has a bad start to close out the week, I think you stick with him because the first 3 starts consecutively have been so encouraging for Soriano.
Yeah, through 71% of his pitches for strikes here, Scott, and the arsenal, diversifying the arsenal here. He's become more of a complete pitcher so far. 5 different pitches between 11 and 33% usage for Soriano. That is just different from the pitcher that we've seen in the past, and he had all of them working too. So, look, there will be starts where he can't command all of his pitches. Obviously, like splitter is a pretty tough pitch to command. Curveball, similar. Like a lot of those wind up being thrown out of the zone because there's just a lot of movement on that pitch. So he's not going to be flawless, but man, through 3 starts, Jose Soriano has looked pretty damn good. It's a .45 ERA, .65 whip. And that extreme ground ball rate from last year has carried over so far. 65% ground ball rate through Jose Soriano's first 3 starts. He is 88% rostered on CBS. He's 81% on Yahoo. So don't really think he can be added anywhere, Scott. We'll update our rankings later this week. You and I both have him around SP 75. My guess is he probably moves up closer like that. I'm not saying inside the top 60, but probably pretty close to it.
I think I'll be able to make that case when I look at it in the next day or two. Top 60. I mean, I have Andrew Painter, 60th.
Honestly, with all the pitchers getting hurt, maybe we could, because a lot of it's going to drop down.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have him than Andrew Painter at this point. 61 is Shane McClanahan. That's a little dicier, but it's not crazy to think you'd take Soriano over him. 62 is Ryan Weathers. I think I'd take Soriano over him at this point. So yeah, probably
right around
moving him up about that high. Now 58, 57. I got Jack Leiter, Kodai Senga there. That's where it's like, I think those guys probably have earned a little more of my trust than Soriano at this point. Though very encouraged by what we're seeing from Soriano.
And I'm sure there are some people out there wondering, should I sell high on Jose Soriano? I mean, look, anytime a pitcher gets off to this kind of start and has never really done anything like this before, yeah, I mean, you can make the case sell high if you can get, a struggling top 30 starting pitcher. Like, yeah, that I think is pretty obvious, but I don't know. Some of this feels kind of believable for Jose Soriano. The fact that he's changed the pitch mix and he's still getting all those ground balls and threw a lot more strikes in this start too. I think there's a lot to be encouraged about here for Soriano. I did hear, some people talk about this before the season, the fact that he gets so many ground balls and his defense is typically really bad behind him. I mean, that is a way that things can, unravel a little bit, right? Like more hits just happening as you give up, more ground balls and it's not a great defense behind him. So I guess that's like one case that you can make against him, Scott, but I think it's pretty believable. And I wouldn't sell high just for the sake of like, hey, I got to cash in now on Jose Soriano. So that is him. And I think you should be pretty excited if you picked him up early on in the season. Let's continue on and get to this cage match, Scott. We're going to lower the cage. 2 men enter. Only 1 man can win. Cam Smith versus Jordan Walker. The battle of the post-hype prospects. And both of these guys are just off to awesome starts, had big games here again on Monday night. We spoke about them yesterday. We got to talk about them again, Scott, because they are still available in some leagues out there. Jordan Walker, 2 for 5 with his 3rd homer. He had 3 hard hits in this game. Actually, the hardest ball that he hit was a 115.2 miles per hour. It was actually a ground out, a force out in that game, but did hit another home run there for Jordan Walker. And Cam Smith, enjoying his first game in Coors Field, double, a walk, hit his 3rd home run in this game. And over his last 6 games, it's 9 hits, 3 homers, 2 steals. Talked a lot about these guys, Scott, so I will throw it your way. Who do you like more? Jordan Walker versus Cam Smith.
Yeah, it's getting harder to say because Cam Smith, his exit velocities have been trailing. Even they weren't very good last year as a rookie. They've been even lower this year. I think it was something like when I wrote about him in the Waiver Wire article yesterday, it was something like 8th percentile average exit velocity. But that's with one of the best bat speeds in all of baseball. It was already good. It's gotten better this year. And, you see him do things like hit 462-foot home runs at Coors Field. Granted, it probably wouldn't have gone that far elsewhere.
The furthest home run hit in baseball so far this year.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's obviously nothing to shake a stick at. And what I like most about Smith that Walker can't say, or at least isn't showing any signs of, is it looks like he's going to run a lot. 3 stolen bases already. He actually had more stolen bases than home runs prior to this game. Now they're tied, 3 each, 3 all. And that's with 93rd percentile sprint speed. So he should run a lot, Cam Smith. But I think, Jordan Walker's hitting the ball 98 miles per hour on average. He entered the day with the highest average exit velocity in all of baseball. And that's an impressive leaderboard to be at the top of. I also saw he took, I don't know, Jordan Walker wasn't like some draft day prize this year, so we weren't paying that close attention to what was happening with this spring. He wasn't performing all that well, but he took 3 days off toward the end of spring training to go into the hitting lab and work on his swing to help see the ball out of the pitcher's hand better. And now we're seeing these results early in the year. We always knew he had the potential to impact the ball this way. It's what made him such a good prospect in the first place. Now we're seeing him do it more consistently, which is why that average exit velocity is so high. Neither of these players has been actually, I'm not sure if this is true of Smith or if I'm remembering somebody else. I want to say neither of them has been pulling the ball that much Yeah, it's absolutely true of Smith, and it's true of Walker as well. So, like, you can find warts, Smith with the low exit velocity and both of them with the low pull air rate. And obviously, neither of them have much of a track record of success, but they're both showing a lot of encouraging signs too, as former top prospects, still young enough, both 23, to that it's easy to picture them taking a big step forward. And I think it's to the point now where they both have to be picked up just because the upside is so high. So, it'll take time to sort out what is noise and what isn't. Is the low average exit velocity for Cam Smith noise? Is the high average exit velocity for Jordan Walker noise? It'll take time to sort that out, but there's enough here to sink your teeth into that you should go ahead and do it. And so I didn't answer your question. I just kind of praised both of them. I will give Jordan Walker the slight edge.
I agree. I would give Jordan Walker the slight edge as well. The one thing that stood out to me when looking at Cam Smith, and I am really impressed with both of these guys, so I don't want to sound like I'm talking down on Cam Smith, but, we have to nitpick. That's the point of having this conversation, is some of the underlying plate discipline stuff for Cam Smith. It looks a little troublesome early on here. He's chasing a lot. His zone contact is sub 80%. And his swinging strike rate is 16% so far. That is a really high number there for Cam Smith. It hasn't resulted in a big strikeout rate, only 24%. But if those things maintain, then the strikeouts will rise here for Cam Smith. And Jordan Walker has done the opposite. His swinging strike rate has dropped from 16.6% to 13.7%. So that actually is a pretty notable improvement so far for Jordan Walker. Everything is a small sample size so far, but again, if we're just nitpicking between these two, I would give a slight edge to Jordan Walker as well, Scott. I think that both of these guys have elevated themselves to the point where I think they are approaching, names like these other names that we were excited about, the young guys like DeLauder and Carson Benj, who are, probably borderline top 40 outfielders. I wouldn't put Jordan Walker or Cam Smith ahead of DeLauder, obviously. But, once we get into, would you drop Noelvi Marte for either or both of these guys?
Well, that's an easy call because Marte's not even playing that regularly.
Yeah.
I think Carson Benj is harder. At this point, where are Walker and Cam Smith in terms of roster rate? I know they're both
still sub 70%, 67 for Walker, 62 for Cam Smith.
They've gone up a lot just in one day.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the sort of the sort of deep leagues where you wouldn't dream of dropping Carson Benj, you didn't have to, and it's already happened. The move's already been made. So it's probably more leagues on the shallower end of the spectrum. And it's probably fine to drop Benj just from the perspective of I need to give myself as many shots at a breakthrough player here. And Benj, I might be able to sneak through for a while. Still tons of upside there, but you might have another chance at him. While, here we are talking for 10 minutes about Jordan Walker and Cam Smith at the top of the show. They were both prominently featured in the waiver wire article I wrote on the CBS Sports website. They're getting plenty of attention right now. And if they do end up being big breakout players, you'll look back and this was your one and only shot at them. So obviously not DeLauder because he's off to an incredible start as well. I'd hesitate to do Jack Caglione either, but you're getting close to the right range where you could think about making the swap. Maybe what about a Jacob Marcy?
That was the next question.
Yeah.
He is off to a terrible start. I think in a shallower league, I would be all right making that move.
You're obviously not dropping Jacob Marcy in a 5 outfielder league.
Right.
There's just not enough outfielders to consider that. And probably Cam Smith and Jordan Walker have already been picked up there. But in case they haven't, you're probably not dropping Marcy there. There's probably someone else you can drop instead because the league is of such a depth. But yeah, 3 outfielder leagues, I think that's probably fine for the same reason it's fine to do with Carson Benj.
Yeah. I mean, I would make the same case for, someone like Kerry Carpenter, who's rostered in
Yeah.
87% of CBS.
That's easy. That's easy because he's a platoon player.
Yeah. So there are names like that who just don't play every day that I would, if they are more rostered in a shallower league than either of those guys, I would go ahead and make that swap. So I declare Jordan Walker the winner for now. Jordan Walker versus Cam Smith. Before we hit our first break, did want to have a quick chat about Dalton Rushing, Scott. I know you were talking about him before we started here. It was bombs away for the Dodgers, man. They went into Toronto and hit a bunch of home runs. Ohtani hit his third. Freeman hit his third. Teoscar Hernandez, a sock in the shoe, his second home run, his first steal. But Dalton Rushing, massive game, 4 for 4 with a double dong, has 3 homers in his past 2 games, has started just 3 games total this season. And if he were on almost any other team, Scott, I think we would have the same level of excitement for Rushing that we do for like Carter Jensen. But he's a backup catcher for the Dodgers, so it's hard to get too excited about it.
Yeah, and if you'll remember back when he was called up, the expectation was, oh, well, they're obviously not just going to have him back up Will Smith. He got some exposure to left field in the minors. Like they need to get their bat in the lineup, and they'll get creative to do that. And Dave Roberts pretty early on was like, no, he's here. He's only going to play catcher. And it's like, you want to stunt this guy's development that way? I mean, obviously he can't get at bats at DH. Shohei Ohtani's filling that spot. He's not going to play much if he's just catching. And that's still true. It is interesting that he started back-to-back games and homered 3 times between them. It was only his third starts of the year, but it was back-to-back. Apparently, Dave Roberts said it's because he wanted Will Smith to catch Yamamoto and Ohtani the next 2 days. They just had Justin Wrobleski going here on Monday. And so I guess Wrobleski doesn't get the Will Smith treatment, but those other guys, Roberts wanted him to get it.
Yep.
But what's curious about that to me is, okay, but Will Smith just had a day off. You're saying he can't catch 3 days in a row? Like that doesn't make sense. Like
there might be a few, like it might be like a day game after night game type situation.
Maybe. Well, Will Smith's not an old guy. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of strange. Like, is this a sign that Rushing is going to cut into Will Smith's playing time more? For fantasy, it probably won't be enough. Probably. I don't know. Maybe some of those 15-team 2-catcher leagues, it might be. But not in most leagues. I if anything, I worry about Will Smith and how much time he's going to lose to Rushing.
I think that's fair. I do buy the explanation here from Dave Roberts. So the Dodgers face the Blue Jays today, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So normally you don't see a catcher start a day game after a night game. But again, for the reasons you mentioned, they want Will Smith to catch both Yamamoto and Ohtani. And I think that's why they gave him the extra day here. But look, if Dalton Rushing keeps raking every time he plays, then they've got to find a way to get him some playing time. But they also really love Will Smith, so ultimately, I don't think it will affect him much. But we'll see. Huge game here for Dalton Rushing. Let's take our first break. When we return, we'll get to the news and notes right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. Let's hit the news and notes. And Juan Soto was officially placed on the IL with that calf strain and is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Ronnie Mauricio was recalled from the minors. And obviously, look, calf strains are tricky cats, as you reminded us yesterday, Scott.
Calves are tricky cats, all right?
Calves
Get it right. Get the quote right.
You can't mess around. That's basically the point here. And I actually commend the Mets for doing the right thing and not trying to play through this and mess it up even more. So,
I mean, I wish they had told us a day earlier. I don't know how many people got stuck with Juan Soto in their lineup. I know that was a problem for me in one league. It was one of those leagues where a lot of expert leagues are set up this way, but I don't know that the the normal layman's league is usually set up this way, where you have Fab run the night before, and that's how players are picked up off the waiver wire. So you can't just add somebody before the lineup block. Like, you got to know the night before. And there was one league where I didn't pick up an extra outfielder, so I'm just stuck with Soto in my lineup all week, and that kind of stinks. I also hope it's just 2 to 3 weeks, but Cavs are tricky cats, and there's a chance, a week and a half from 2 weeks from now, Soto's going on a rehab assignment and still bugging him, and that would be frustrating. Not much you can do about it now. Just hope for the best.
Well, if you need a Soto replacement, Jordan Walker, Cam Smith, there you go. And in shallower leagues, check to see if they're out there. Another pitching injury out of nowhere. Matthew Boyd placed in the IL with a left bicep strain. Craig Counsell said he expects Boyd back after the minimum time. Javier Assad will start Tuesday for the Cubs. And it has just been a brutal run of pitcher injuries here for the Cubs. First, Cade Horton, who sounds like he'll miss extended time. And then obviously Matthew Boyd. It's not a long-term injury here for Boyd, but it's still annoying for the Cubs and their fans. Apparently, Jacob deGrom had a minor right knee issue before the game here on Monday, which is why he only went 5 innings. deGrom said all is fine now, and he could have kept on pitching, so they're playing it safe here. But look, man, Jacob deGrom's getting a little bit older, and we've already had like a neck pop up, a knee pop up for deGrom, so I just hope it's not just one nagging thing after another for deGrom. He pitched well, Scott. Velocity was down a little bit in the start, but I think that knee probably explains why the velocity was down a little bit here.
You were worried about Cole Reagans. Kept telling you, Frank, deGrom.
There's a lot of
deGrom's the injury risk.
A lot of season left, Scott.
There's a lot of season left. And deGrom's hasn't actually, he's not on the IL or anything. He pitched well for having knee tenderness, is how it was described. It's tender. But hopefully that's all it is, and we don't hear something tomorrow about it.
Mookie Betts said Monday that he already feels light years ahead of where he thought he was going to be. Do not rush back from an oblique injury. That would be a terrible decision for Mookie Betts. Mike Trout was not in the lineup Monday after getting hit by a pitch on his hand on Sunday. X-rays were negative, but I also read that they did not do any other testing, which, why not? Why not just be sure of everything being okay with Mike Trout? Maybe they still will. Who knows? Nick Lodolo is apparently using a new resource to deal with his blister issue and is making some progress in his recovery. He played catch on Monday. Isaac Paredes was activated from the bereavement list, but not in the lineup. This is part of the problem, Scott. It's, when everyone's going well for the Astros, Paredes not in there, especially in Coors Field. Like, that's when we want Paredes in there most,
Yeah. So this is, other than the 3 games he was away on bereavement, this is the second time he's been out of the lineup.
Correct.
So, I bet he'll be in tomorrow, and someone else will have a day off. And that's usually how it goes with a super utility guy. He plays almost every day, and everyone he replaces plays almost every day, but none of them play literally every day.
Yeah. I guess one thing we need to pay attention to is I would be surprised if Yordan Alvarez played a lot of left field on the road this season, just because left field in Houston is, they got the short porch there. It's, there's less ground to cover, obviously. I don't think that they're going to put Yordan Alvarez in left field in Coors Field. I mean, there's so much space out there. So they'll have to find another way, like, give Correa a day off or Christian Walker. Like,
Walker hasn't had a day off yet. He's an old guy. Give him a day off.
They're both off to good starts.
That's a blow.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Alejandro Kirk will undergo surgery, thumb surgery here on Tuesday, and it sounds like they will have more of an idea for a timetable after the surgery is done. As expected, Pete Fairbanks was placed on the paternity list. Addison Barger's ankle is trending in the right direction, but a stint on the IL has not been ruled out. Sal Frelick was back in action after sitting on Sunday with a left side injury. Austin Hayes left Monday night with a right hamstring strain and will go on the 10-day IL. Max Scherzer left his start early due to right forearm tendonitis. Jordan Westberg will begin a throwing progression this week. He is on the 60-day IL with a partially torn UCL in his elbow. The Rays activated Taylor Walls from the IL and sent Carson Williams back to AAA. The Athletics optioned Luis Morales to AAA on Monday. No word yet on who will take his spot in the rotation. The Angels placed Ryan Johnson on the IL with a viral infection, which means George Clausen could get another start here with the Angels. And I'm not sure if this is
Should
a typo.
Should he?
Probably not. I'm not sure if this is a typo or not. I couldn't find it anywhere on Twitter, Scott, but I saw a player update for Marlins pitching prospect Noble Meyer. Apparently, he has a shoulder strain, and this report said he will be out 12 to 16 weeks. I don't know if that's true or not, but
usually you start talking months when it gets to be that many weeks.
Right, yeah, that's kind of weird phrasing. You know what?
Yeah.
I read it as months, and that's why I was so taken back. 12 to 16 weeks actually isn't so bad. It's like 3 to 4 months for a shoulder strain. I mean, that could be fine. But
most of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I honestly, when I wrote it down, I thought it's a 12 to 16 months. And I was like, whoa, this guy is out for like a year and a half with a shoulder.
Oh, okay. So I just now clued you into the fact that it was weeks and not months, unless you wrote it down. Maybe the typo is yours.
You know what? Honestly, now I need to look it up. But I'm pretty sure it said weeks, but my mind just read months. I don't know.
It's like my kid is 48 weeks old.
Yeah.
Like who says that? Or my kid is 60 months old. How old is he? Oh, he just turned 60 months. He's 5.
Right.
At some point, referring to your kid as a certain number of weeks or months old makes sense, but it ends.
12 to 16 weeks is what the player update says on CBS.
Yeah.
Which is, they could have just said 3 to 4 months.
They could have.
It would have been a little bit easier.
Well, week's not exactly 4 weeks. Month's not exactly 4 weeks. A week is exactly 7 days.
Yeah.
I am just this is killer content right here.
I know. Let's talk about the most dropped players on CBS from this weekend, and we will start with the hitters here. And I'll read off the first 5, let's say, and then we'll get to the next 5. But Noelvi Marte dropped from 88% to 71%. Addison Barger from 90 to 75. Caleb Durbin from 69% to 55%. Alejandro Kirk from 85% to 73%. Kyle Manzardo from 53% to 42%. Scott, are you in agreement with those players being dropped to those levels?
Did you say you skipped over the injured players intentionally?
I did not say that. No,
you did not. But did you?
No, I didn't.
Because usually it's injured players at the top. So that's interesting that it's not, and obviously gives us more to talk about. Do I agree with these? Well, I guess Alejandro Kirk is injured. So that would be one. But he was over-rostered anyway at 85%, given how stacked catcher is this year. So he probably deserved to be dropped anyway. To 73%. I'm not saying dropped everywhere. I'm saying, there aren't 73% of leagues that are deep enough for Kirk to be rostered and more. Anyway, okay, so Noelvi Marte and Addison Barger, they're part-time players. The fact they're over 70% rostered still, while Cam Smith and Jordan Walker are not. I think they could keep going down. I would drop them both for either of those two. So, yes, I agree with that. Caleb Durbin from 69% to 55%. I don't know that there's, unless he's been sitting some for the Red Sox, I haven't even looked. I presume he's just off to a cold start, so people are getting cold feet.
He has sat out just one game so far.
Yeah. I think if you like Caleb Durbin going in, you should still like him. I saw some people maybe talking him up a little too much, but the initial 69% roster rate seems fine. 55, it's still fine, but I imagine he's not going to get much lower than that this year without an injury or playing time change. And then Kyle Manzardo, let's see his playing time this year. And they've only faced one lefty. Them and the Rockies. Guardians and Rockies, only one lefty each. Manzardo started every game except against the lefty. So again, if you like Manzardo coming in, I don't know why you would change your mind now.
I think part of the problem for him is that so many like corner infield players have emerged early on in the season. So I think
Name 3.
TJ Rumfield.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like every night I'm writing down corner infield guys. Miguel Vargas.
I'd still take Manzardo.
Yeah, and Manzardo was a pretty streaky player last year too. I remember like he went through months where he was not usable, and then other months where he was really good. So I think. What about Ryan O'Hearn?
He's been striking out a lot. Yeah, O'Hearn, that's a good one.
Jake Berger,
Colt Keith, who also has his bat speed is up. He's hitting over 400. I don't know though. Like he was only 53% rostered in the first place, Manzardo, and so you're getting into deeper leagues there. 42%. I guess it's fine if you're picking him up for somebody in that range, like we just talked about. But in the long run, I think Manzardo is going to end up being what you drafted him to be. So don't pull the plug just because he's striking out 34% of the time in the early going. Pull the plug because there's somebody really exciting to pick up, and Manzardo's your worst player.
The next 5 most dropped hitters from the weekend: Nolan Arenado from 62% to 51, Kobe Mayo from 39 to 30, Moises Ballesteros from 44 to 35, Jordan Beck from 43 to 34, and I don't think you'll like this one, Scott. Spencer Torkelson from 84% to 76%.
No, you shouldn't give up on Torkelson that soon. It is just an 8% drop, and O'Hearn is less rostered than that, where Torkelson is currently. Wilson Contreras, who had a big game here on Monday. I know he was off to a slow start himself, but I view him and Torkelson as about in the same category roster-wise. Maybe some people picked up Rumfield instead of Torkelson, which I still want to do because I imagine Rumfield's going to be a platoon player. The Rockies have faced only one left-hander so far. They're facing no left-handers this week. The run of righties will have to end at some point. Rumfield sat against the one left-hander they faced. Maybe he'll stay so hot through this week that they'll just say, forget it. Next time a left-hander comes up, we want Rumfield. But I doubt it. I think playing time is going to be an issue for him eventually, and it won't be for Torkelson.
Mm-hmm. The name I wanted to bring up real quick is Jordan Beck. He has actually sat out 3 times already this season. So 4 times, including on Monday. So if you have him in a 5 outfielder league, I think you could probably drop Jordan Beck. So there was some skepticism coming in, and now the playing time hasn't been great. So I think
he hasn't been great for a long time now. His second half, and I know I talked about this in the preseason, it seemed like Beck was being overdrafted. Second half last year, he had a sub 700 OPS, ton of strikeouts. Yeah, he got off to a hot start when he got called up last April, but there wasn't much after that.
The most dropped pitchers on CBS from this weekend includes Cody Ponce, injury obviously there, Jacob Lopez from 63% to 44%, Chris Bassett from 70 to 52, Mick Abel from 57 to 40, Shane Smith from 82 to 65. The ones that stand out for me, Scott, are Lopez and Abel. We liked as sleepers coming into the season, and people are kind of pulling the plug quickly. It's tough because there's a lot of pitchers that have kind of, emerged early on here, and you've got to make like snap decisions. So it's tough.
Yeah, that's what makes this conversation tough. It's tough for a couple of reasons. I think very few people listening have any frame of reference for what roster rate looks like on CBS, because even if you've looked at roster rate on your own platform at times, well, roster rate is very different on NFBC versus Yahoo versus CBS versus ESPN. It's so tailored to the depth of the leagues that are usually played on that platform and the scoring system and et cetera. So I'm very familiar with the roster rate because I base a lot of content on it, but people listening, these numbers don't mean anything to them. So that's part of the reason this conversation is difficult. Another reason why this conversation is difficult is because it's framed without the context of who you're picking up. And so it's easy for me to say, oh, I'm not ready to give up on Jacob Lopez. I talked about that the last time we talked about him. I'd be a little reluctant to give up on Mick Abel or even Shane Smith, who's been terrible through his first 2 starts. Like, I think it's too early to say, yeah, they're going to have a bad season. But if they were your only chance of picking up Jose Soriano, I get it. And we have talked about how that's the game you have to play, particularly on the pitching end this time of year, because the players showing signs of a breakthrough on the waiver wire get snapped up right away. And, some of them are going to be legit. Some of them are going to stick and be this year's biggest breakouts that nobody saw coming. And in order to give yourself the best chance of securing as many of those as possible, you just have to play the game of snapping them up. And so you got to figure out who to drop, who makes sense. The late round flyers who are off to terrible starts, you drop them, they're probably not getting picked up. And that's probably true for Jacob Lopez in most leagues, even though I think there's still a lot to like there. So it makes sense, the roster rate falling. I'm just saying, don't foreclose the idea of them still being breakouts too. I get it. I get you only have so much roster space, and protecting them is less important than protecting who's a good example? Not Jose Soriano, because he's been picked up everywhere.
Like Parker Messick.
Yeah, sure. Parker Messick, or I'm trying to think even lower end than that.
Emerson Hancock?
Yeah, sure. Emerson Hancock. One of those guys. You get the idea. Protecting Parker Messick, Emerson Hancock is more important right now than protecting Jacob Lopez and Mick Abel. But there's still a long way to go. Keep your eye on what Lopez and Abel are doing.
The 5 other most dropped pitchers right now: Griffin Jax from 65% to 49%, Christian Javier from 49 to 34, Justin Verlander from 33 to 22, Dustin May from 29 to 18, Tyler Mahle from 65 to 54. I think the bottom 4 names there, that's totally fine. Like Tyler Mahle, you could probably stream him in the right spots, but it's not a big deal. Griffin Jax is the one that stands out, Scott. And I think, those could just be a lot of points leagues where people maybe thought Griffin Jax was going to be the closer. I would still hold on in like 12-team roto leagues or deeper, but I understand why it's hard to hold on to Griffin Jax when other, save sources are emerging right now.
Yeah. No, I think in a world on a platform where Jordan Romano is only 55% rostered with his 4 saves already, it makes sense for Griffin Jax to be rostered less than that. So that's, again, trying to contextualize the rates that you're seeing just in a vacuum. Well, Jordan Romano is less than 60% rostered himself. Who would you rather have at this point? Romano. Who would you rather have between Griffin Jax or Riley O'Brien, who's much less rostered than that? I think Riley O'Brien. And leagues where saves are scarce, where anyone emerging off the waiver wire as a possible save source, Gregory Soto's fetching 10% of the fab dollars when we don't even know that he's a full-time closer. Obviously, you can't draft Griffin Jax in a league such as that, but few people play in a league such as that. As for Christian Javier, Justin Verlander, Dustin May, Tyler Mahle, I'm kind of foreclosing the possibility that they could be breakouts this year. It's probably fine to not just remove them from your roster, but remove them from your mind until they show something that gets us talking about them again. But I'm skeptical that's going to happen.
All right, let's take our final break. When we return, some confusing pitchers, man. Bad starts. What is going on? We'll talk about it right after this.
This isn't just combat. It's cinema.
Ready or not, here I come. Let's go!
Are you not entertained?
The new home of UFC, Paramount Plus.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. What is going on with these pitchers? And up first, Scott, your boy, Chris Sale, had a terrible outing here at the Angels. 4 innings, 6 runs allowed, 2 homers allowed in this one. What went wrong with Chris Sale?
Yeah, I happened to be watching this while I was working on IL stash rankings, and he had a really weird inning. The 4th inning. Both of the walks came in that inning, and he hit 2 batters in that inning. So he walked in a run. He hit a batter to give up a run. There was a well-placed ground ball that was responsible for a run. It was, kind of between shortstop and third base, and there was just no play. So it was a weird inning. He did give up the 2 home runs. There's no writing those off, but average exit velocity was 83 miles per hour in this one. So he wasn't giving up a lot of hard contact. He missed a ton of bats, 7 strikeouts in 4 innings, 12 whiffs on 77 pitches. The velocity was back up, like you said, after he was pitching with a stomach bug last time. It was way down. It's back up normally where we're seeing it. So I think he's fine. He just kind of had an inning where the command was off. That was the main issue here. He's still, for the start, still threw 66% of his pitches for strikes. That's a good strike rate. But things just went awry in that inning. I'm not worried.
I am watching a video of like parts of this 4th inning where, man, like he let his emotions really get to him too. The catcher threw the ball back to him on a walk. He tried to catch it with his bare hand, dropped it, picked it up, and then slammed it off of his own head. It's like, dude, what is going on, man? Like, I know. Look, we all know Chris Sale's a fiery dude going back to his days of like cutting up jerseys in the White Sox clubhouse and all that. But
yeah,
that is that's kind of weird to see for
like my kids when they play baseball.
Yeah, or me watching my players on my fantasy team, Scott.
They are so hard on themselves.
That was me all Monday night. Like, why did I ever pick up Ryan Weiss? That was the worst thing I ever did in my life. And now I can't take it back, but oh well. Let's talk about Bubba Chandler, who struggled with control again, this time against the Padres. 4 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, only threw 58% of his pitches for strikes. We know what went wrong, Scott. The question is, how worried are you about Bubba Chandler in these first 2 starts?
Long-term perspective, not worried at all. Short-term perspective, like rest of 2026, kind of worried. Not so worried I'm dropping him, but worried enough where I'd be reluctant to start him. I mean, it was a 2-start week this week, so he kind of had to. But now, he got his strike percentage up to 58% in this start. It was way down at 53% the first one. 58% is still terrible. That's the joke there. If you don't have a frame of reference for strike percentage. Yeah. And it was a problem all spring as well. It was a problem in the minors last year. We chalked it up to frustration with him, his promotion being delayed, and maybe that contributed to it. We've seen him come out of it. He was a good control pitcher in the minors in 2024. He was good for his time in the majors last year, threw a ton of strikes. So not all hope is lost here, but it's been real bad so far. Enough that, again, I think twice about starting Bubba Chandler.
And if you started him in a 2-start week, obviously you're already locked in. He is at the Cubs this weekend. Bubba Chandler is a team that has really good plate discipline, the 4th highest walk rate against right-handed pitchers so far this season. So that will be a real test there for Bubba Chandler. Next week, home against the Tampa Bay Rays. So I think if he doesn't show signs of improvement this weekend, you're most likely benching him next week against Tampa Bay. Let's talk about Shane O'Mac, Shane McClanahan, and an up and down start here against the Cubs. Only lasted 4 innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, 2 runs allowed in this one. Only threw 51% of his pitches for strikes. And he really just lost the feel in that second inning. I was watching the start. He walked 3 in the second inning of this game. Outside of that, he looked all right, but it's, velocity still remains down. Scott, what are you seeing here with Shane O'Mac?
Well, it dropped more. in this start from the first one. It was down another mile per hour, putting him 2 below, actually more like 2.5 below for the fastball when we last saw Shane McClanahan healthy. And that's a big drop. Obviously, he's not pitching very deep into starts either. I'm a little reluctant to drop him because he's Shane McClanahan. And we saw him have some success this spring working in other parts of his arsenal, not relying so much on the fastball. So I think there is a path to success here. And Shane McClanahan, just because of the name value, you drop him, there's a good chance he's getting scooped up and you never have another chance at him if he does turn it around. But it's hoping against hope, I feel like, at this point. And a little early to give up, but at the same time, if he's your only path to getting, I guess it's too late for Jose Soriano at this point, but I don't know. Let's say that even though they're in Colorado, the next time out, Mike Burrows has a great start. And he's available in a lot of leagues still. And obviously there was a lot of enthusiasm for him coming in. Let's say he goes 6 innings, strikes out 10. If Shane McClanahan's the bottom guy for you and you want to pick up Burrows, I can understand it. I'd rather not, but I can understand it.
Yeah, I would really try and not drop Shane McClanahan as well. I understand like that specific scenario would be a very tough one to be in. But you know, he's still working his way back. He hasn't made starts in the regular season in a long time, since 2023. So I still think there's a chance that he could build up and get better. But obviously these first two have not been great here for Shane O'Mac. What about Brandon Woodruff? Not great at the Red Sox. 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs. 3 of those earned, 4 strikeouts to 2 walks, and his velocity was down even further in this one. It was 46 degrees in Boston, so that does not seem great for Brandon Woodruff. Scott, where are you at on him?
Yeah, I think we give him a pass since it was so cold. That's a big drop in velocity, but you expect that when it's that cold. And I think his pitch selection shows that he was struggling with that cold. In addition to the drop in velocity showing it, the pitch selection does, because he threw his changeup about twice as often as usual. It was responsible for 7 of the 10 whiffs. Let's not panic yet. Let's see him pitching again in normal baseball conditions. He was pretty good in his first start. That's all I really have to say about Brandon Woodruff right now.
And 2 other names here who had good first starts and then pretty bad second ones. Andrew Painter, 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs allowed. Basically had nothing working in the start at all. And then Casey Mize, a big old stinker at the Twins. 4 1/3 innings, 5 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. And his velocity was way down across the board. It was 37 degrees in Minnesota here on Monday night. So what do you do with Andrew Painter, Casey Mize? Do you hold both of these guys?
Casey Mize was pretty ordinary last year. I know he made the All-Star team, but it kind of felt like he got away with something by doing that at the time, and then things took a turn for the worse in the second half. And strikeout rate wasn't that great. The swinging strike rate wasn't that great. The ERA and WHIP were both kind of high. Not terrible, but kind of high. Just not really in the range of what you want in fantasy. So I know he had a good start first time out, got a ton of whiffs on the splitter. But nothing seemed to change there other than just the results. It's not like the stuff looked different or he was throwing harder. He looked like the same Casey Mize, and I think just happened to have a good start. So that's why I'm not going to say, oh, it was cold, let's give him a pass. We had much lower expectations for Casey Mize going in, and we didn't see again, other than the result, I didn't see anything in the first start that would lead me to believe he's new. He's something new this year. So I'd be fine dropping him for, if there's another interesting starting pitcher to pursue on the waiver wire, even a hitter, if that's more what you need, I'd be okay dropping Casey Mize.
What about Painter? Holding him?
Painter, yeah, I think we hold him because he did look good in his first start, and obviously a long-awaited prospect, thought to have big upside. It's more complicated than that in his situation because he struggled in the minors last year, coming back from Tommy John surgery, and the improvement on his fastball that was promised this spring hasn't really shown up. I have noticed with him, the pitch selection between start 1 and start 2 was very different. So I think he's learning to take this kitchen sink approach, Andrew Painter, since he doesn't have that dominant fastball anymore. He's up to 7 pitches, added a splitter in the second start that he didn't throw in his first. So 7 pitches in all. And the selection was very different from start 1, where he got good results, to start 2, where he didn't. So I just think we need to see more from Painter because he's still a work in progress.
All right, continuing on here. Wanted to run through some waiver wire hitters, and first up, some shallow league names here. Chandler Simpson, he continues his strong start, 2 for 4 with a run and 2 more steals. He is batting .395 early on with 4 steals on the season. Look, if you play in a categories league, he's rostered. I get that. Scott, do you think Chandler Simpson is a must roster even in a head-to-head points league?
I want to go as far as to call him must roster yet, because you go you just don't go that deep into the outfield pool in a format like that. And there's only so much upside he has as somebody with 0 power. I think if we get a good year from Chandler Simpson, if he continues this, if he remains an everyday player, hitting about 300 and ranking among the league leaders in steals, at least in CBS sports leagues where steals are worth 2 points apiece, he will be startable. He will be top 36, but there's a clear peak. There's a clear limit to his ceiling, and I'd be more looking to pursue ceiling at this point in the year. With Jordan Walker and Cam Smith still being as available as they are, I would stop short of calling Chandler Simpson must roster.
Do not give up on Wilson Contreras just yet. He went 3 for 3 with a walk and his second home run. It was his first multi-hit game with the Red Sox. Has 2 homers in his past 4 games. And just a reminder, this early in the season, things can flip very quickly. So like we were talking about with Kyle Manzardo early on, if he goes out and hits a home run 3 days straight, that can change his numbers very drastically this early on in the season. Scott, your boy Carter Jensen back in the lineup Monday, and hopefully we're past all of this discipline. 2 for 4 with his second home run. He has looked pretty solid early on here. And again, if you need an Alejandro Kirk replacement in a 1-catcher league, I think Carter Jensen is among the best that you can get off the waiver wire in a league like that,
Yeah. I think he's probably under rostered at this point. I get why, but yeah, hopefully his probation period has ended just in time for me to remove him from the sleeper hitters for this week. I was concerned because the playing time, they were getting funny with it, but hopefully it's passed.
Some deeper waiver wire hitters here. Brady House is off to a nice start, 3 for 5 with 2 doubles in his second home run. The homer, 110 exit velocity, 423 feet. TJ Rumfield continues to rake, 2 for 4 with a triple and 2 RBI. He is batting .364 early on. And Troy Johnston. Who is Troy Johnston? Well, he plays for the Rockies. He has started 7 straight games, and he went 3 for 5 with his second home run, 2 runs, 2 RBI in this one. Had a huge season in the minors way back in 2023. But hasn't really done much since. So, Scott, how would you rank these just in terms of your deep league interests? Brady House, TJ Rumfield, and Troy Johnston.
I would go Rumfield, whose interest should be beyond deep leagues at this point. He was the top sleeper hitter for this week. I do think, there are going to be platoon concerns that haven't manifested yet. But for now, Rumfield's looking good. And then I go Brady House 2 and Troy Johnston 3. I'm not disinterested in any of them. And I'm open to the idea that Brady House has a big breakthrough at third base this year. I will point out he has a 30% strikeout rate. He also entered Monday with a 0% pull air rate, which that seems crazy that could be possible. So I don't like seeing those things in isolation, but I'm going to try not to make much of them yet when there are other things I'm seeing that I do like for Brady House. Obviously had the big spring. I pointed out how in his minor league career, he often needed extra exposure at a level before kind of finding his footing there, as was true for Michael Busch when he was coming up the minor league ladder as well. So I don't, sometimes in the interest of finding in the interest of finding interesting things to talk about, my hopes or feelings for a player get lost in, he has a 30% strikeout rate, 0 pull air rate, like nitpicking. It's of course nitpicking this early in the year. My gut feeling for Brady House is this might be a breakout season, but it won't be if he has a 0% pulled air rate all year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, we want to see pulled fly balls for him, but also entering Monday, 93 mile per hour average exit velocity and a 16% barrel rate. So those barrels weren't going to the pull side, but they were going somewhere. So he's doing something right, but he does have to pull the ball in the air a little bit more. Any quick thoughts here on Troy Johnston, who's getting some run here with Rockies?
Yeah, I liked him as a minor leaguer. He was a little like TJ Rumfield in that the production was usually good, but the exit velocities were pretty bad. And I will note that his home run here on Monday hit 99.9 miles per hour. Somehow travels 407 feet. That's Coors Field for you. I don't know. I think because he's with the Rockies, I think because they're playing him a lot, started 8 of their last 9 games. He's somebody worth watching, but he is the true, he at least right now, he feels like the true deep league option of these 3, the other 2 being TJ Rumfield and Brady House.
Yeah, I did see in a lot of my 15-team 5 outfielder leagues, I think Johnston was added in all of them this weekend. And that is the type of league that you should be looking to add and stream him when he's home, when he's facing right-handed pitching. Again, that is Troy Johnston with the Rockies. Boring waiver wire pitchers, Scott. We got good starts from Michael Wacha, Jamison Tyone, Zach Littell. Anything stand out with these guys?
Well,
boring.
They're boring. They will be among the streamer pitchers often this year. Wacha was the number 1 streamer pitcher this matchup against Cleveland, and the next one later this week is White Sox. Jamison Tyone was number 10 on the sleeper pitchers for this week. So they both came through. Littell, I was a little worried since he signed in spring training. A lot of times we see guys in that situation rush to build up and then they get knocked around early on and sometimes never seem right all year. But he looks like Zach Littell, who I will note had a 110 whip last year. Not many strikeouts. ERA was in the high 3s, but 110 whip. He could be a whip specialist in deeper rotisserie leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 22% rostered, so could be out there in some of those deeper formats. That is Zach Littell. I think wins will be pretty hard to come by with the Nationals, but could potentially give you some solid ratios there. Is Zach Littell. Scott, do any of these pitchers matter? Brandon Williamson, Jansen Junk, and Herman Marquez. Actually, I have a couple other names here, but we'll start with those 3. All pitched well on Monday. Do any of them matter for fans?
I mean, Chris seemed hyped about Jansen Junk. He was texting us about him. That's the guy he texted us about tonight. Yep. Jansen Junk. I don't know. I still think he's appropriately named Junk, not Chris.
Oh, jeez. Jansen Junk, by the way, I will point out in this one, his velocity was down across the board, and he also had a lot more movement on his breaking pitches in this one. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but that feels like maybe it would be correlated. The velocity being down and getting a lot more drop on his pitches here. And also in his first start, he had a 109 stuff plus rating. So look, man, in deeper leagues, I think it's name to watch there is Jansen Junk. He's quietly done some interesting things.
Yeah, I think I could see him being Michael Wacha-like, which would be useful, certainly in deeper leagues and streamable at times. We're in a world now where we're talking about Bryce Elder as a potential pickup. So I think it's fair to group Jansen Junk in with that. But I see, big drop in velocity. Sure, the movement was higher, but a big drop in velocity in this start. Average exit velocity over 89 miles per hour. So it's not like he was getting weak contact. He was hit even harder than that in his first start. Not getting many strikeouts. I don't see a lot of reason for enthusiasm with Junk. He was okay last year. He's been okay so far. I think he might be okay, but might be okay. While Michael Wacha is okay.
Yeah. A couple of their names here: Justin Robleski, Brandon Young, and Eric Fetty. So again, some deep league names. Scott, any chance those three matter? Any of them?
Probably not. I mean, Robleski is with the Dodgers, so that he gets an asterisk for that. Great supporting cast, but I don't think he's going to pave his own way very often.
I was trying to focus my camera. I wasn't saying talk to my hand or anything.
Yeah. Previous group, I will say keep an eye on Brandon Williamson. He has a very good changeup that he didn't throw very much in his first start, and he did throw it a lot more in his second start, got 9 whiffs on it, and obviously got good results in Miami. There may be something there with Brandon Williamson. I don't think there's huge upside or anything, but it's possible he could become a useful option this year.
Yeah, I think he's probably just in there while Lodolo is out, but his next 2 turns, Williamson, Angels this weekend at the Twins next week. So pretty good matchups there. So not too bad for Brandon Williamson. Some hitting leftovers here. Sal Stewart, my boy, continues to make stuff happen. 1 for 4 with a RBI and his second stolen base. James Wood had himself a huge game, 2 for 3 with 2 walks and his third home run. The homer, 114.3 exit velocity. He has homered in back-to-back games, but we need to get that strikeout rate down for James Wood. Christian Yelich is off to a great start, 3 for 4 with a double, a walk, a run, and an RBI. In this one, he is batting .395 early in the season. Luke Keeschel is on the board, 1 for 3 with 2 walks, 2 runs, and his first home run of the year. I know that his bat speed is up, but his average EV entering this game was 85.9 miles per hour. So we need that bat speed to translate to exit velocity. Come on, Luke Keeschel. Cal Raleigh, he is also on the board, hit his first home run, which was the result of a 12-pitch at bat with Jacob deGrom. It was an awesome battle, which Cal Raleigh ended up winning and hit the home run 418 against deGrom here.
One hit off deGrom.
Yeah, that's it. 1 hit, 1 run. That's it against Cal Raleigh. Drake Baldwin continues to look like he is taking that next step. He hit his 5th home run, which is tied for the league lead with Chase DeLauder and Shea Langoliers.
Off Jose Soriano, the ultimate ground ball pitcher.
He's human after all, that Jose Soriano. Just tremendous start here for Drake Baldwin. Big game for Bryce Harper, who went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, 3 RBI, just barely missed a home run. It was 112.5 exit velocity. It would have been out in 5 of 30 ballparks, but playing in Oracle as a left-handed hitter here, unfortunately, did not go out there for Bryce Harper. 2 lonely pitching leftovers. Logan Gilbert, a quality start at the Rangers, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks. And Joe Ryan, he was okay against the Tigers. 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 of those earned with 7 strikeouts. Scott, anything here on Logan Gilbert or Joe Ryan?
Not really. I mean, it was nice to see Logan Gilbert bounce back, but I wasn't worried about him. Yeah, nothing that interesting to say about those two.
All right, continuing on, the call to the bullpen for Tampa Bay. Brian Baker got the ninth inning with a 3-run lead. He allowed a solo homer, but closed it out for his first save. Griffin Jacks pitched on Sunday. He threw 30 pitches over 2 innings. I don't know if they would have used him in, a safe situation either way. But Brian Baker, he feels like the highest leverage reliever early on, Scott. I feel like things can change every day for Tampa Bay. But Brian Baker's only 10% rostered. Feels a little bit low.
Yeah, probably. I mean, for the leagues where Gregory Soto was demanding 10% of FAB, I think it's time to start looking into Brian Baker.
All right.
I think it's going to remain messy in Tampa Bay, but he might be the top dog.
For the Royals, Lucas Urseg got the ninth inning with a 2-run lead. He struck out 1 for his 3rd save. He is 70% rostered. Scott, do you think Lucas Urseg is just a must roster player, like even in a points league as a, let's say, lockdown closer type?
Yes-ish. I mean, I would rather have Jordan Romano. Sorry, Jordan Romano, not Romano. And like I said earlier, Romano is 55% rostered. So, must roster. Everything is relative. But yeah, if all the closers are rostered in your league, I mean, Urseg is far from the bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm. For the Reds, Emilio Pagan got the ninth with a 2-run lead, pitched a clean inning for his 4th save. That is 3 scoreless outings in a row after a rough start to the season for Pagan. For the Cardinals, Ryan Stanek came on in the 8th inning with a 3-run lead. He gave up 3 hits on 3 runs. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, excuse me. He was relieved by Matt Swanson, who also gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, took his first loss. Outside of Riley O'Brien
O'Reilly, that's what they needed.
Outside of Riley O'Brien and Jojo Romero, that bullpen is bad, man.
Yeah.
Stanek and Swanson have been awful so far.
Yeah. I think O'Reilly O'Brien is I think his job security is better than it's getting credit for.
For the Nationals, Cionel Perez came on with a 3-run lead. He allowed a hit but closed out the game. He was actually credited for the win, which was kind of confusing, but I don't know. They took the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the reliever that pitched before that was really bad. So I know at that point it's just kind of like at the discretion of the scorekeeper or something. So Cionel Perez got the win, not the save. For the Brewers, Abner Uribe and Trevor McGill were unavailable. Angel Serpa got the 9th inning with a 3-run lead. He gave up a run on 2 hits, but picked up his first save. For the Rangers, Scott, what year is it? This name that I'm about to bring up to you, not Robert Garcia. He pitched the 8th inning with a 1-run lead, facing the bottom of the Mariners lineup, which featured 2 lefties. He retired them in order. Jacob Junis got the 9th inning. He hit a batter, but he ended the game with a double play. He picked up the save. Chris Martin pitched on Sunday. It would have been his 3rd appearance in 4 days. I don't know. Does Jacob Junis matter? I hope not.
I mean, it's funny. If he hit another batter, I didn't notice that in the box score. He has now, this year, Jacob Junis has more hit batters than hits and walks combined. Obviously, a tiny sample, but it's just kind of funny. And it makes sense why, out of desperation, Skip Schumacher would turn to him. Out of desperation, I mean, anything is possible in this bullpen at this point. Even Jacob Junis becoming the closer, at least for a season. A season, not in the like baseball sense, but a season in like the, for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that he has pitched pretty well over the past couple of years as a reliever. He doesn't get many whiffs at all, but if you look at the past 2 years before this, 2024 and 2025 combined for Jacob Junis, 2.83 ERA, 104 WHIP. It's also with like a 7.1 K per 9, but That is over the course of 133 and 2/3 innings. So it's a pretty decent sample size for a reliever.
Anything is possible, Frank. I was talking up Cole Winn the other day.
Anything is
Maybe it's going to be Junis.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jacob.
For the Orioles, Ryan Helsley got the 9th inning with a 2-run lead. He allowed a run on a hit and 2 walks, but picked up his 3rd save. For the Rockies, Victor Vodnik was unavailable. Juan Mejia got the final 5 outs for his 1st save. For the Angels, Jordan Romano came on with 2 outs in the 9th, 2 runners on, a 4-run lead. He got the final out for his 4th save, the easiest save he will ever get in his life. Only needed 1 out. And for the Phillies, Yohan Duran got the 9th with a 2-run lead, allowed a hit, but picked up his 4th save of the year. To stream or not to stream on Tuesday, Scott, and the top options here, Matthew Liberatore at the Nationals, Cade Cavalli against the Cardinals, Taj Bradley against the Tigers, Mike Burrows at the Rockies, Ronaldo Lopez at the Angels.
Ronaldo Lopez, followed by Mike Burrows, followed by, I think, Taj Bradley, though it's a distant 3rd. And Cavalli and Liberatore wouldn't be terrible options either.
All right. And then on Wednesday, let's say Will Warren against the Athletics. We have Joey Cantillo against the Royals, Grant Holmes at the Angels, Reed Detmers against the Braves, Joe Boyle against the Cubs.
Grant Holmes is the obvious standout here at the Angels. Very strikeout prone team. Joey Cantillo against the Royals would probably no, let's say Will Warren against the Athletics would be my 2nd choice. But again, Cantillo against the Royals, Detmers against the Braves, and even Boyle against the Cubs. They are a patient team. Maybe not Boyle against the Cubs, but Cantillo and Detmers I don't hate for Wednesday. Some decent streamers the next 2 days.
Yep. Let's wrap up, Scott. Team name Tuesday. This one is from Tucker, and he sent in Ava Tarang and think Avatar Aang from Nickelodeon's Avatar. I watched this kind of scarcely throughout my life. I was always interested in it. It seemed like a fun show, but I never actually watched all of it. Have you watched Avatar, Scott?
I did binge it like 4 years ago just because it kept popping up on social media and I was curious. It's a kid's show, but it was solid for a kid's show. I like anything that has any TV, not any TV show, but I like when TV shows have an ongoing storyline rather than being episodic, which seems like episodic thing might be coming back a little bit, but I think TV's at its best when it's not like that.
All right. From Brian, my Jordan savior, Jesus Luzardo. That's I kind of like that. Judge and Yuri of Don Caglione.
That's cramming 3 names in there, but it kind of works.
My Jordan savior, Jesus. That's good. I like that. From Richard, Schlittler's List.
Okay.
And Framber Alert.
All right.
From Brad, Bryce Tyrannosaurus Rex. We did get a few dinosaur-related ones this week after Jurassic Park, so that was cool. This next one from Ryan, Thoracic Park.
Yeah. I've thought about that too. Yeah, that's a good one.
From Sean, Sasaki Bombers.
All right.
Or I guess you go with Sasaki Bombs if you want to do that. The beverage. From Michael, Reagan's Against the Machine.
Okay.
From Jacob, for he has ones from last year and this year. So for this year, welcome to the party, Sal.
That makes sense on a couple levels.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What's eating Logan Gilbert grape?
Sure.
And Acuna, feel the love tonight.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing the Lion King thing when Acuna Matata is obviously the most obvious one there. You're using the same name. It just feels forced, Jacob.
No,
Not gonna lie,
I like that, man.
and it feels forced.
How could you say that team name without singing it too? It just makes you want to sing it. I feel like you have to. And these two are from last year. Kershaw Shank Redemption.
Have we not had that one before? I'm saying that because I feel like we should have,
Probably.
but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because that's good.
Yep. And then Heard It in a Bird Song, which is a
Okay.
reference to 70s Marshall Tucker Band.
I got a bonus one for you here. I've been wanting to use this one, but like lambs to delauder.
It's pretty
I
good.
like it.
You have it
I like
anywhere? You have it anywhere?
No,
Use it?
no. There's only not all of my leagues do people name their teams. You know, a lot of my leagues, it's just your team is you. And I don't have Delauder in any leagues where people name their teams. So that's a free one for anyone who does.
All right. We are going to wrap there for Scott. I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. And we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.